Good morning, good afternoon, good evening guys, wherever you are in this beautiful world, whenever you're watching this video. Welcome to the Bitcoin family channel. For the newcomers, my name is Didi. In today's video, of course, walking the beautiful beach here in Phuket, while I talk about 4 amazing Bitcoin charts, a beautiful trading tip, some travel advice, of course that live advice, and yes, also about the news, because there is some cool news today out. Now, also a little bit of an emotional day for me, because the 21st of November is now exactly 21 years ago that my mother passed away. So the 21st of November is always a special day, but I will come back to that later, guys. Now let's first jump into the charts to see what Bitcoin is doing. Are we going to break that 38.2k level? Are we going to go with and take it all the way about 40k? Let's see what the charts tell us. The first chart, guys, yes, beautifully behind my laptop, so I can point you a little bit better on the charts. The first chart, of course, is the day chart. On this day chart, we can see, yes, we have that sell signal on the top. Again, we are trying to break that level there around 37,500. I think we are trying to hunt for the 38k level, which is around the top of the Bolinger Band. If we would be able to break that, guys, then I believe that we can see an explosive move all the way up to 48k level. So if you would be able to break this, I believe we could even do something like this insanely before we pull back to these levels here again around that green level, 34,000 US dollar. That is the move that I'm hoping to happen. I'm not saying it's happening in these kind of days, because that would lead all the way in December, but this could be a move. If we look to the RSI, guys, then we can see yeah, that one is kind of topping out. You see here we went hugely above, we came down, we're trying to come above again. Did that happen like this in the past? Look to the past. Yes, over here we came up, we went down, we came up again. So, you know, we kept moving, but mostly we pulled back in the RSI after a certain amount above that dotted line. Above the dotted line, over here, above the dotted line, we pull back, we come above again. Above the dotted line, we pull back. Above the dotted line, we pull back. So mostly when we spend time above the dotted line, we lose strength, and yes, we will pull back a little bit, guys. So it's still waiting what this confirmation will do of Bitcoins, but I hope we can still have enough power to do that beautiful move now all the way up to that beautiful 40k level. But let's see. Let's zoom out a little bit more. Let's look at the weekly. At the weekly, we can see the same playing out. It will make my face a little bit smaller over here, like this. The weekly, we can see the same playing out. So we have this high over there. We had a higher high over here. We had a low over there. We had a higher low over here. Now we are creating a higher high over there, and there will be somewhere a higher low. And where is the higher low going to be? That's the question. Probably somewhere around that red line, and that red line at the moment is almost at 29,000 US dollar, guys. Yes, we can see a cross, also a golden cross on the weekly, very beautifully happening over there, which is also very bullish for the market. We can see here on the bottom, the MACD is still very bullish, and the RSI can still continue a little bit more to the upside. So, but if we pull back, guys, I believe that we would pull back first to the 35k level, try out again, maybe then pull back to these kinds of levels over there of 32,000 US dollar, and from there again build up a new structure to go even higher to these 40k levels. So wouldn't be bad if we see a small correction, but let's see how bullish the market is now after all that bullish news, for example, like in Argentina with the new president that is really Bitcoin minded. Now let's quickly jump into a more beautiful zoomed out chart, and that is, bam, this one over there. Yes, beautiful chart. On this chart you can see very simple where you should have been buying and where you should have been selling. So these 50 bars, these 350 days, you should have been buying over there. So this is a weekly chart. Every candle is 1 week. Now, here again, these you should have been buying. You should have been buying. This whole period here of 75 bars, almost 525 days, you should have been buying. This is all buying opportunity for Bitcoin. Where will we go after that we are below this red line? Mostly we then get a bull market with a huge upward potential. For example, over here we can see that we rose with 1700%. Over here you can see we rose with around 11,000%. Over here you can see that we can rise all the way up to maybe 145,000 US dollar per Bitcoin. You're buying at these levels of 37,000. That would mean It's almost times 4 still, your capital, if we would reach that green line. So very important for you guys to always zoom out, look at that bigger picture. It's a very beautiful chart that's working with the 2-year moving average multiplier. As you can see, you can read the text. If you want to pause the video, you can read the text, how this exactly is calculated. But if you look back into the past, completely into the past, look how beautifully it has every time played out over here again, and here again, and every time beautifully playing out between these lines. 145k would be a beautiful target. That were the charts for today. I hope you really enjoyed the charts, guys. Yes, the charts are showing us exactly the same like they were showing us yesterday. You should be buying Bitcoin. Bitcoin is in the beautiful phase of the accumulation, they call it like that. So you should be accumulating Bitcoin at the moment. We are going to go and see a new all-time high. Now, all-time high at this moment is 69,000 US dollar. So if you start just buying Bitcoin now, you know you're already going to double the capital that you put in Bitcoin today. That's a beautiful return on investment. If we get even more bullish, spot ETFs and all that stuff, yes, we could go even way higher than doubling your investment. So just zoom out in Bitcoin, look at the bigger picture and try to zoom in at life, because every little second of your life counts as a very important second. Time is the most valuable asset that we have. The trading tip for today, guys, is about the EMA and the SMA. A lot of people always ask me, Didi, what's now the difference between the EMA, the exponential moving average, or the SMA, the simple moving average? There is not a big difference. The only difference that there is speed. The EMA, exponential moving average, moves way faster than the SMA. So that's the only difference between the EMA and the SMA. The EMA reacts quicker to the market, the SMA reacts slower to the market. The EMA, by that, is more volatile and has, I think, a little bit less stability. The SMA is slower but has more stability. So it kind of depends on which time frame you're looking at an asset, if you want to use the EMA or the SMA. Longer time frames, I think the SMA would be better. Shorter time frames, I think the EMA would be better. If you want to know more about EMA and SMA, just Google it. But that's the most simple explanation I can give. The only difference between EMA and SMA is the speed. That was the trading tip for today. The travel tip for today, guys, is a simple one. Slow down. Don't try to fit 6 countries in a 6-week holiday. That's too many countries in a 6-week holiday. You won't be enjoying any of those. Slow down. Take those 6 weeks for one country. Come to Thailand for 6 weeks. Try to get to know the real culture. Try to get to know the locals. Try to get to know those places that are not like the touristic attractions. You need to give yourself the time to be able to explore. If you're just focused on, I have 6 weeks holidays and I want to see this, and you can only visit all those things for 1 day or 2 days, you will always have the feeling like, I should have stayed longer because I still want to see that. Try to focus on the real life in Thailand. Come here for 6 weeks. Go just to the southern part. Just do the island strips in 6 weeks. Or just do the middle part of Thailand in 6 weeks, like Bangkok, Ayutthaya, the Erawan waterfalls, that's beautiful, River Kwai. Or just 6 weeks in the north, also very beautiful. Maybe 5, and then 1 week on the beach here, because you must never miss out on the beach and the islands of Thailand. But I think that you understand what I'm saying. Slow down. Really try to enjoy the moments that you're experiencing on those locations that you visit. Don't run through them as if it is a competition to visit as much as possible countries in a couple of years. We did that in the beginning, and I can tell you exactly the difference between what we did in the beginning and what we are doing now. In the beginning, we did that. A couple of weeks Thailand, a couple of weeks Cambodia, a couple of weeks Vietnam, a couple of weeks Philippines, then a couple of weeks Indonesia, Australia. Now, since we're doing like 3-4 months Thailand, 3-4 months Portugal, 3-4 months Mexico, 3-4 months, whatever country will come up next, we slowed down. And because of slowing down, we are meeting the local people, the communities, and we are experiencing a completely different way of traveling. So I think one of the most important lessons of the last 7 years of traveling as a family, I think it's that you should be slowing down. Because every island has a lot of adventures. There's a lot of experience possible here on Phuket, for example. We've been coming here now for 2 years in a row, about like 5 months every time, and we still haven't seen everything in Phuket. So in my honest opinion, my travel tip for today is slow down. Don't try to fit too many countries in a 6-week holiday. Let's jump into the next part. The next part is the news, guys. Let's talk about the news. The news that I missed yesterday is the news for me today. Javier Milei is the new president of Argentina. And a lot of people think that's very positive for Bitcoin. I agree with that. I think it's very positive for Bitcoin. Because this is a president that is completely against the central banking system. He hates the central banking system. He hates all the lefties. He hates the inflation that the poor people are having in Argentina now already for decades. And he wants to change that. And the way he wants to change that is by fighting against the central banks and implementing Bitcoin. He is a true Bitcoin believer. I know that a lot of you want to tell me, yeah, but Didi, he's also on the website of the World Economic Forum. Yes, I saw that as well. He is as well on the website of the World Economic Forum with a picture where he was like 20 years old or something like that. And as he has stated himself now multiple times, he hasn't been at the World Economic Forum anymore for years. He doesn't like those people. He wants to fight all those centralized central banks and the rich part that's supporting those banks by implementing, for example, Bitcoin as the first decentralized legal tender in Argentina. So believe me, this guy is crazy as fuck. I saw his videos and I love his videos because I love that there is a president now that's fighting that regime. I don't know if he will live for long, because mostly when presidents like him stand up to fight these regimes that have been there for many years, yeah, they mostly end up dead. So I hope he doesn't. But I think it's a very big step for Argentina. Like you have inflations in our countries. In Europe there was inflation, and we're talking about 6%, 7%, maybe sometimes 15% or 20%. Countries like Argentina are talking about 1000% of inflation. They will be very happy if that inflation is gone. And that inflation is there because they completely depend on the dollar. They should de-dollarize, in my opinion, and just go fully Bitcoin. Just do exactly what El Salvador did. They should become the second El Salvador, but this is like the bigger brother of El Salvador. This is like a huge country, Argentina. So for me, really thumbs up for what is happening in Argentina. And I know again that you are saying, yeah, the World Economic Forum, this guy is going to change the complete monetary system for Argentina and also bringing back liberal democracy, in my honest opinion. I think he's a true fighter for liberty. I think he's a true fighter for equality. I think he's a true fighter for a decentralized new monetary system that is also good for the poor people. He understands how the central banks make the rich in Argentina even richer and make the poor poorer and poorer and poorer, and he wants to change that. So I wish him all the luck for doing that, and probably is going to get a lot of attention of the Bitcoin community, and maybe Argentina is the next Bitcoin country that we should visit as a family. Who knows? We haven't been to Argentina. My favorite football player, Diego Armando Maradona, is from Argentina. Maybe it now becomes time to visit Argentina. That was the news for today, guys. And then I come to the part where I answer a question of one of the followers, guys. The question was, Didi, if we will see diminishing returns in Bitcoin new all-time highs, how then is it possible to ever reach 1 million US dollar? Because if we go only times 7 or 8 this bull market cycle, which means 16,000 US dollar was the bull market cycle bottom, and then we go times 6 or 7 or maybe to 8 to go above 100k, wouldn't it then be next time that we only go times, for example, 5 or 6? And if the new bear market bottom in 2026 will be 30k and we only go times 5 or 6, we would reach 180k. And if you continue to count like that, it would take a shitload of years to ever reach 1 million US dollar per Bitcoin. And my answer to that question is very simple. Because yes, of course, it is true that if you calculate it like that, it's very difficult to reach that new $1 million level per Bitcoin. But on the other hand, guys, just think about all the liquidity that's coming into the market now because of the whole new spot ETF in Bitcoin. That's completely different stuff. So all these cycles that we have been calculating were calculated on a stable growth of influx of new capital. But if this spot ETF will be approved, that will maybe triple the amount of capital that is in Bitcoin at the moment. And maybe the next year it will maybe go times 6 already, the capital what is in Bitcoin at the moment. So it's all about how much liquidity comes into the market, but it's of course all about how big is this diminishing return going to be. Because yes, in the beginning there was a huge difference, like 30,000% to only 2,000%. But in the end, I think it will be maybe this bull market times 8, maybe next bull market only times 7 or 6, maybe that next bull market only times 5, maybe that next bull market only times 4. That's also diminishing returns. We calculate crashes of like 60 to 70% because the crashes are also diminishing. The last crash was only like 70%, the crash before was 74%. So if you also calculate the diminishing crashes, the diminishing returns, but also diminishing multipliers, then in the end it's very simple to, in the next 2 or 3 bull markets, end up at $1 million per Bitcoin. And then you still need to calculate all the liquidity that is going into the market now with the spot ETF that we have never calculated and never seen before. So if it would lead now to the Bitcoin price going to, for example, at the moment, like 250K, and we will see a 70% crash, that would be leaving us with a price of about 70K in the bear market bottom. And if we do that times 6, then the next bull market top would be somewhere around 420K. And if we then only crash 60% from that 420K, we end up somewhere at 200K. And if we then 200K only times 5, we end up, oh shit, at $1 million per Bitcoin. And maybe we'll take one cycle more. And that will, in the end, then again be $1 million per Bitcoin. So that is why I believe that $1 million Bitcoin is definitely possible. Yes, it is diminishing returns. Yes, it is diminishing crashes. And I think, yes, it's also diminishing multipliers. So the combination of that will make sure that Bitcoin in the end will reach $1 million in our lives. In our lives, yes, I believe I still can get like 12 years older, so 3 cycles. I can still live those 3 cycles. If you're 102, maybe you're not gonna see a $1 million Bitcoin, because you never know, of course, how long you might live. Which brings me to this beautiful, inspirational part of today. I'm gonna walk into the shadow a little bit, guys. It's bloody hot already. The sun is shining, the skies are turning more and more blue. Last week was a little bit cloudy, but yeah, the clouds are disappearing and the sun is arriving, guys. The inspirational thing for today is, of course, talking about this beautiful day, the 21st of November, which is the day that my mother passed away. Her favorite quote was, "Didi, you must never fear life." So that is also the inspirational quote for me today. You must never fear life, because if you fear life, you might miss out on all the fun stuff, guys. And if you try to postpone everything till you're older, you definitely might miss out on all the fun stuff. You might even never see all the fun stuff. My mother died when she was 48 years old. I at that moment was 24 years old. We never expected her to die at that young age. 48 years old, she was not sick, nothing. And still, on a beautiful Wednesday night, the 14th of November, we had dinner at home. And I told my wife, "Goodbye, Mom, see you tomorrow, love you." That moment, I just received the keys of my new house, so we were sleeping in my new house. And she said, "Goodbye, see you tomorrow." But that tomorrow, that never came. In the middle of the night, it was 3 a.m., my brother called me. And he's like, "Didi, Mom can't breathe anymore, Mom can't breathe anymore, Mom can't breathe anymore." That was the only thing he could say. "She's not breathing, she's not breathing." So I jumped into my car, I drove back to my elderly house, to my mother, and I saw the ambulance over here. And then I knew this is wrong. I ran into the house, I ran into my father, and she's gone, she's gone, she's gone. I couldn't believe what they were saying, so I kept going into the house, and then she was on the kitchen floor. And they were still using this machine, you know, CPR and everything, and she went into a coma. They got her heartbeat back, and she went into coma for 7 days. And in those 7 days in the hospital, I stayed 7 days in the hospital with my father. My wife, Romaine, stayed at home. And she took care of Gino and Zita, who still my brother and sister, who still were young. And I stayed there. And in those 7 days, I started to talk a lot to her. She was in a coma. I thought maybe I can talk her out of this coma. Maybe I can bring her back. And now later, I started to realize the things that I told her in her coma, I probably should have been telling her in life. The dreams I was telling her, and we are going to do this, and we're going to visit Thailand, and we're going to go and have a beautiful holiday together, and we're going to have this beautiful time together. And Christmas, I should have done that before she was in coma. And I think that has quickly made me realize at that moment in life that postponing that happiness, postponing those beautiful things, postponing the love with your family, your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, is the worst thing you can do. And especially when you use the reason every time again, yeah, but my job, I need to work, I need to do this, I need to do that. There's always a reason possible for you to postpone the beautiful things in life that should matter to you. And that's what I realized when she was in coma for 7 days. And then after 7 days, 21st of November, she passed away. And that became a very special day to me, and that's why I always go on these dates with my brother and my sister and have dinner. This will be the first time, I think, in history that my sister won't be there. She's in the Netherlands. So yeah, maybe we do a Zoom call or something, but it always reminds me again to the quote she loved. Do not fear life. Do not fear to take decisions. Do not fear to celebrate life at this moment. Do not fear to tell your boss to fuck off. Do not fear all of the things, and that will make you a stronger person. That will make you experience all the beautiful things in life instead of running away from all those beautiful things because of fear. You are missing out on a shitload of stuff. If you're spending time having fights with your parents, having fights with your brother, having fights with your sister, realize that they also won't live forever. There will be a time that they will pass away. And you will have a shitload of regrets that you didn't make it up before. So for me, it's very important that people realize that time is the most precious asset that we have. I can never buy back times, even if I have a shitload of Bitcoins. I can never buy back time. So you should put time on number one when it comes to living life. Not Bitcoin, not your bank account, not your passions, time. And for me, that's time with my family. Because I realized very quickly, after my father died, when he was 60, that my time could be limited as well. My mother was 48, my father was 61. What if I would die when I was 48? What if I would die when I was 60? Would I have then experienced the life that I want to experience? Would I then have spent enough time with my children that I wanted to spend with my children? Why did we choose to have children with my wife? To dump them on schools? Or to dump them on childcare? No, to enjoy them to the fullest. So when I understood that time was the most precious asset and that we never know how much time we have, I started to focus differently. And I didn't spend time anymore on jobs that I didn't like. I didn't spend time anymore on passions that I started to dislike. I didn't spend time anymore on people that were pushing me back or influencing me negative, or people that just were negative that I didn't want to surround myself with anymore. I started to focus on time being the most important asset and only invest time in those things that really mattered to me or one of my family members. And that is the thing, and I think that's the biggest secret of life. When you start to see time as the most precious asset out there, you start to invest more time in those things that really make a difference for you. Don't spend time on things that you don't give a shit about, that you don't care about. It's useless. That's why I loved Bitcoin so much. It's making my capital work for me while I get the possibility to spend time to the things I really love. You should use Bitcoin to have your capital work for you so it makes you able to enjoy that every single minute of the day to the fullest. It's the precious time that you then can use for all those things that you really love. You're not spending 60% of the week anymore to a job that you hate. because Bitcoin is giving you this beautiful returns on investment that will make it possible for you to spend the time to the things that you really like. So that's my inspirational part for today. Let fear never rule your life, and put time on number one when it comes to your assets. I hope you really enjoyed today's video. If you did enjoy today's video, please give the video a thumbs up, share it with your friends and family, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment. What do you think about the charts? What do you think about everything else? I wish you an amazing day. I am going to have a beautiful evening with dinner with my brother and everything. I wish you the same, and see you tomorrow again. Thanks for watching. Bam.